Hey everyone, this is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. Update on our weather today into tomorrow and what impacts, if any, Cindy is going to have in the Carolinas. Kind of an interesting setup. The flood threat we were worried about yesterday really has gone down quite a bit, and part of the reason why is Cindy is shifting much further west in the track, which is pulling the plume of heavy moisture further away from us. Doesn't mean we're totally out of the woods yet for heavy rain, but I'm going to show you why it may not be all that bad. It might be just to our west. There's Cindy, the latest update today. I'll pause this so we can see where the center of circulation is. Pretty much straight south of Lafayette, Louisiana, and the center of circulation is heading towards just to the east side of Houston, basically this Beaumont, Texas area, Cameron, Louisiana area, right there on the Texas-Louisiana border. That's the center of circulation, but obviously this is a very lopsided system. All of the moisture and really the wind is on the east side. The winds are gusting up to 50, 55, 60 miles an hour offshore. Onshore, most of the winds have been 40 to 45 miles an hour. So you can see the big threat is going to be there on the Gulf Coast. Now, what does this mean for the Carolinas? You can see today that stalled front that was to our south yesterday has shifted up to the north. The further north this gets, this is going to keep us in the warm, humid air mass, but could actually deter rain chances. Rain chances aren't huge today. It's not going to be a pretty day. I'm not going to lie to you. Not a great pool day, but it's not going to be too shabby. It actually looks like we'll just see scattered showers around the area most of the afternoon. And let me show you quickly the storm track for Cindy. This is the latest track from the Hurricane Center. Let me refresh this, see if they've updated it. Okay, this is still 7 a.m. They'll get an update at 11, but you can see making landfall right on the Texas-Louisiana border, then weakening very quickly. It's pretty weak now, to be honest with you. Then it moves up here into Tennessee. Now, this is where we are going to have it merge with a cold front late Friday night into Saturday. So if we're going to see heavy rain, it looks like that's going to happen on Saturday morning or late Friday night. And I showed you this earlier, but this is the probability of seeing flooding. This is the excessive rain outlook. And you can see down here on the Gulf Coast, this is today's concern. So this is today's outlook. Tomorrow's outlook, you can see that threat starts to shift inland, but notice the marginal threat for some flash flooding possibly in the North Carolina mountains. And then on Friday, you can see that threat begins to shift up here into Tennessee, Kentucky, and maybe the North Carolina mountains, but just to our west. So we might escape the worst of this. So let's look at some model data and on what we think is going to happen. This is the future cast. This is the short range one. We'll start this morning, go out into the afternoon, and you can see the circulation center. Notice that we're relatively rain free. We're not going to be dry, but we're not going to have heavy downpours today, just scattered stuff. We'll go through tomorrow morning. We'll stop this at tomorrow morning here, let it catch up. And you can see the circulation has made landfall somewhere on the Texas-Louisiana border. We'll go into tomorrow afternoon. We'll see a batch of rain, it looks like tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, move through with the moisture. Again, doesn't look particularly heavy. Now as the tropical system weakens, Cindy starts to merge with a cold front Friday, and this is where things get a little more interesting. There's going to be a pretty powerful cold front, which you can see up here starting to show itself right there, starting to move down. It's going to pick up the remnants of Cindy and move it off in this direction. So the front's heading our way. The question is, will the remnants of Cindy be moving our way or kind of moving to the north? So it's over Memphis tomorrow, Friday morning, excuse me. We'll go into Friday night. Friday afternoon, I should say. And you can see it starting to merge with the front. So this is 2 o'clock Friday afternoon. We're starting to see that merger with the cold front. Still got a little squiggle here. You can actually see the low. So you can still see we've got something there. Now let's switch to a longer range model, which is a lower resolution. But you can see the front progressing Friday night, starts to merge with Cindy. And then we kind of lose Cindy. The moisture's still there, but then it just becomes a good old-fashioned cold front. And so this is really early Saturday morning. There's the cold front moving towards the mountains. Still not bad here for most of the Carolinas. We'll go into Saturday morning. This is 8 a.m. in the morning. And then we'll go to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The front crosses over. And because of the timing, it's moving through in the morning hours into the early afternoon. It starts to weaken. And so it looks like it could fall apart as it pushes through the area. So I honestly think overall we might luck out here and not see a huge impact unless something squirrely happens and we end up getting some kind of weird merger where this thing moves right over us. So when we showed you the Weather Prediction Center's outlooks, you can see most of that heavy rain threat stays off to the west. Now, how much rain are we talking about? Well, let's look at the QPF, which is the amount of rainfall over 7 days. So we'll go out to 7 days. And if you look closely, you can see the heavy rain axis is just to our west. Now, the mountains might be in play here a little bit, and then offshore there'll be some rain, but then look at the big void in between. So right now, I do think we'll see rain today, scattered stuff, scattered tomorrow, but if we're going to see potentially heavy rain, the time frame is going to be really late Friday into Saturday as this whole mess back to the west moves our way. So something we'll be keeping an eye on today. Maybe some good news. The threat overall could be diminishing for flash flooding, but it really depends on a couple moving parts, Cindy, and obviously the next cold front that's coming down. Of course, I'll have you covered throughout the afternoon and into the evening. No severe weather today, no flooding expected today, just a gloomy, kind of drizzly, dreary day. Some breaks in the sun, of sunshine, but temperatures likely in the low 80s.